Okay, TV fans, it's an epic battle between the world's most powerful artificial intelligence and the nun devoted to destroying it. We've binged the whole first season of Mrs. Davis, and the twists and turns are biblical. Well, I got to chat with two stars, Jake McDorman and Chris Diamantopoulos. Check this out.
Jake, I'm going to kick off with you. You know, it's really hard to describe this series. It's conflicting, it's retro to futuristic. How would you describe it if somebody said, hey, what's it about?
It is really hard to describe. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. So our show's about an AI not unlike ChatGPT or like ChatGPT married Siri, and this is their love child that became Mrs. Davis, that runs the world, you know, and has for a while. When we drop in on our characters, this technology is kind of ubiquitous, Mrs. Davis, and she's claimed to solve all the world's problems and, you know, end world hunger and war and all sorts of great things. But there's some nefarious consequences that come with that. And our heroine is Betty Gilpin as Simone, who is a nun who wants to take the whole thing down.
It's not brainwashing us, right? Like we don't have to do anything we don't want to, because we still make our own choices.
Do we?
Were you like, OMG, when you read the script, or were you immediately committed to it?
Totally, all of it. I was an OMG, I'm so committed to it. So both of those things together in equal measure. Just being a brainchild between two genius writers is rare now. I feel like we are kind of in a sequel adaptation cycle of content. So to read something that was just this original and had me guessing, and the character like Wiley, but also all the characters in this show, they really have a high bandwidth. Like they're not just props or there for laughs. Like, I mean, Chris's character, JQ, comes into our show in episode 2 like a wrecking ball and is probably my favorite character in the whole series. And they still let him swing back and give Chris and JQ an opportunity to be grounded in some serious, you know, intention and backstory and drama. And that's true across the board with all the characters. So yeah, it was an instant kind of love at first sight.
Oh my gosh, love Wiley. Well, Chris, you play JQ in this series. A lot of people, again, love JQ and how crazy this character is. But how do you prepare to be such a wacky Aussie? Like, do you do when you're on set to just completely be able to portray that?
It's a great question. You know, it starts and ends with the brilliant scripts that were written by Tara and Damon and the writing team. I mean, it's all on the page, and you know, they've created this beautifully unique, chaotic universe that I was able to just sort of jump into and play with. I will say that what wasn't on the page was the Australian accent, and that was just the confluence of some, you know, conversations with Damon and Tara, and they wanted to see sort of what other special sauce I could add to it, and this idea sprung to my head of, you know, cinematic Russell Crowe meets all of the Hemsworth brothers blended together, and there he was. And this guy really, he's like, it's like he steps off of the silver screen. He's like Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element meets Tyler Durden. You know, he has an aversion to shirts. He's very tan. He's bleached blonde hair, and he loves his suspenders. JQ can rock it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The suspenders are a must. Well, is there anybody you're channeling when you're JQ?
I mean, there's a little of my father in there, I'll say. My dad growing up really didn't want to wear a shirt much at all. And he, you know, stood pretty proud that way. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. There's a little Vasilis Diamandopoulos in JQ.
Remember what I told you.
Eyes on the prize.
And what's the prize?
Freedom.
I said, maybe he could be European, or maybe. He said, what would Australian sound like? I said, he'd probably sound like Russell Crowe. And he said, well, what would that be? And I was like, well, right now? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was like, you know, it was like a 5-page scene, the PowerPoint presentation. And I thought, all right, let's do it. And it was fun. I was concerned at first that it might slow down the dialogue. And JQ has a lot of expositional dialogue that he has to deliver. But it actually, it picked it up. And, you know, I'm going to teach you how to speak Australian really quickly right now. I'm going to teach you how to say razor blades in Australian. And you just
Okay,
have to
I'm
say
ready.
these 3 words. You say these 3 words in regular English without trying to do any Australian accent. You just say rise up lights.
Rise up lights.
And that's how you say. That's it. Rise up lights.
Rise up lights. Oh my
Yep.
gosh!
Rise
yes.
up lights. There you go. Rise up lights. You got it.
It's that intense. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, before I let you guys go, who do you think Mrs. Davis really is?
Well, we know who Mrs. Davis really is, but we can't tell you.
The question, I think the bigger question is Mrs. Davis listening right now?
No.
Yeah.
No,
We
that's
have
not
one
even.
yes on it.
Okay, well, we love the show. You two are just as much fun to interview as you are on the show. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, and we will continue watching Mrs. Davis on Peacock.
Tips from the pros, rise up lights, rise up lights. It works. Well, season 1 of Mrs. Davis is streaming right now on Peacock. Time to binge a little something, something.